Welcome to the 108 podcast, starring the drunk uncles of White Sox Twitter. He's at his ideal weight if he were 10 feet tall, beef loaf. Never holding but always partaking, not hungry but will eat, My Sock Summer. And your host, he's aged and smells like a sharp cheddar, Terezi E.
Thank you, Cornsey. Welcome to the From the 108 podcast. Get ready for some baseball, beer, and bullshit. And remember the drinking rules. If Beef Loaf says allegedly, or that he wrote a blog about that, you drink. If My Sock Summer talks about bobbleheads or mentions his time on the West Coast, you drink. And if I swear, say, here's the thing, you drink. Beef Loaf, how you doing tonight?
Terezi, I'm wonderful. My Sock Summer, great hanging with you boys at these games this past weekend and even during the week. Didn't get to the game today. I am the least prepared for a show I've ever been. And as I told you guys right before we started, I have no goddamn banter. So what I decided to go with on banter is one thing that I'm so fucking tired of. I love going on Twitter. All right, you guys know this. I love going on Twitter, fucking around, talking to all you people, having a good time, meme game, all this stuff, and especially during the game.
Getting likes.
Game reactions and fun and shit, and yeah, like whoring and all that stuff. I really enjoy it. I'll tell you what's killing me right now on Twitter. There's a million terrible conversations about old school stats versus new school stats. Because all it is a couple that's just about to divorce screaming at each other. There's no substance at all. There's nothing that a beef loaf or any of you can actually learn from any of these discussions. It's just people talking loudly at each other. And even occasionally, when you get someone, who's willing to give a little more of an explanation about something in particular, or kind of dig in a little bit on the point they're trying to make, it's rarely ever heard, understood, or absorbed. And the person who asked the question previously or made the complaint before is making the same bullshit complaints like 2 weeks later. So I don't know what the end game is. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe I'm getting old and cranky, but it feels like, look, if you're not going to put out the effort to learn and understand, and this goes in both directions. You're not going to go, if you're someone who likes old school stats, you're not going to put the effort to learn about the new school stats and see how they react or interact with the old school stats, then why bother? And the same thing with, if you're big into the advanced statistics, if you have no interest in educating people who aren't educated on these and just want to scream at them, again, why bother? I mean, I might have to start muting people because the conversation is so pointless. I just see it in I just start having to scroll right past certain users because it's just like, do they have anything interesting to say, like ever? Or is it just all
name names?
You know what it is?
Name names.
Beef, it's like in Dirty Work when Norm was in prison. What he hated the most. It's the total lack of respect. And that's that's what it is on both sides. Whoever's arguing doesn't respect the other person. Otherwise, they would listen a little bit and say, like, well, explain to me why you like batting average, right? And that might open up an actual meaningful conversation about like what the person's looking for, right? Because like you can have that argument. Like I can have that argument with like Josh Nelson or Beef with you or MSS, like in the seats, right? If we're talking about someone like Yohan Moncada, right? Where the new school people will be like, OBP's there, man. He's got on base like 35% of the time. And, you could look at the batting average and conclude certain things, right? Like that he's not hitting well. He's getting on base a lot because he walks. He's always walked, but he could be getting on base a lot more if he was hitting well. And the batting average is what's going to show you that. So there's reasons to look at all these different stats, and there's reasons to have conversations about these stats and what they're telling you and how you're perceiving them. And sometimes you're going to be wrong. Believe it or not, guys, you might be fucking wrong about something. But
also, Terezi, you might actually learn something.
God forbid.
That you didn't understand before, and this could come from either direction. That's kind of one of the main problems there is there's no discussions with any fruitfulness at all. There's nothing like as just someone watching. If I rewind to 3 or 4 years ago on Twitter, there were a lot of discussions where you would see that, but you could learn something from it. You could get, you could absorb something. Oh, okay, that's an interesting point. I could go somewhere with this. I could write a blog about this. I could dig in on something. I don't see any of it. Maybe it's we're spoiled because now we got a good team And this is all there is. We kind of like, well, they're kicking everyone's ass, so what's the big deal? And this is what we end up with. But there's no fruitfulness to it. I don't get any. I get nothing out of it, I guess is what I'm saying. I'm selfish. Yeah. All of you are fucking up your what I would call shit chat. When we were back in the IRC channel, Treasy, with the pro gamblers, and we were doing all the arbitrage, they would say if someone was going off on something, you're shitting up the chat right now. So, people, you're shitting up Twitter chat, and right now I'm shitting up this chat by saying this. So I'm going to stop right now, and I'll let y'all move on with your day.
Oh, I love the ire.
First off, no, you're a pussy because you're not calling people out. Second,
it's too voluminous. It's too voluminous.
What I'm saying is, though, and
a lot of people.
And I'm listening to you guys, and Treasy almost got there. He almost got there. God bless you. But the thing is, people don't want to learn. People just want to be right. Like, they don't even care. They just, and they're going to argue till they're blue in the face about just being right. Like, and they'll give you any fucking excuse, anything they want to say just to show you that you're wrong or, whatever. Every time I get into a really kind of mean discussion, with somebody or talking or asking about different opinions or expressing a different opinion, the goalposts never stay in one location. They're moving. So it's like, once you get to the point, they're like, no, but no, in this case, it's this, not what we just discussed. So it's like, I have stopped, people might think that I just don't yell at people. And if you watched last week's Sunday Soak, that's not true. But I fucking just don't care enough anymore to get into some of these arguments. Oh, fuck. Okay, I'm back. But I also, it's like, it's not. I also don't understand numbers, so I'm definitely not getting involved in an argument about stats. I get what they mean, kind of the old school ones, the new school ones. You guys have to remind me what that means. I'm still down with OPP. I don't know what OPS. I don't OBS. BOS. I don't fucking. It's a lot of shit.
BOS is my favorite stat,
and it's just a weird thing.
And you're a BMF besides,
and people you got it right too. I think, Loaf, is that if things are too good right now, people got to pick on something. Right, you got to pick out something to be mad about. I think Pino said it when Billy Hamilton was up to bat and it hit a long drive foul ball or something, and then somebody said, "Do it again," and then people said, "Oh fuck, did I squeeze out again?" Shit.
No, you're live.
Oh, I'm still live. All right, my computer's frozen. It's awesome.
Wonderful.
This is great. This is so great. They say that. Oh, they said do it again. He wanted him to hit something, and I was like, oh god. And he's like, why can't we just learn from Dingergate and understand that maybe the most plausible answer is probably the right one. So it's awesome. Yeah, I have shit internet right now. I don't know why. So I'll
just add one thing on to MSS's point to be. So
I have a bad point. Did it phase out or did it just not make sense?
I didn't understand it. But
there was a lot of phase on it. I assumed it was just a Gary Newman song you were singing.
No, Pino said the other night Billy Hamilton was up to bat, and the guy
Billy Hamilton was not up to bat the other night.
Not Billy Hamilton. God damn it!
This is where I got lost. I was like,
that's why you're lost.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Brian Goodwin was up to bat. I'm blaming Danny Perkins for all of this. Danny Perkins got this into my head and it's fucked me up. But no, Hamilton's up to bat. Not Hamilton.
Yes.
Not Hamilton.
You know what?
Good one is down for that.
This is the best banter I've ever had.
You guys have tried to save me.
Right here.
You tried to save me, and I'm like, nope. I'm bringing it back. I don't give a fuck. Good one's up the bat. Somebody behind the plate said, "Do it again," meaning hit the ball hard. And people on Twitter were like, "Who's that asshole behind home plate that is telling them to hit the pitcher in the head again with a ball?" And I was like, "How are we drawing these lines?" Same with Pinos. Pinos did the same thing. So what I'm saying is people jump to some conclusions here. Like the Dinger, he said Dingergate, which was the whole, guy in Colorado yelling at the mascot. He was yelling, and they're like, "He's saying the bad word," and then he's back there waving his hand, looking at the mascot. And then it's just the funniest thing. I mean, if you watch the video, it's anything. Carmen, I will. I'm quitting right now. I might just give up on my banter for tonight because I have some stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Two quick things. One, they should rename that that mascot Donger, and then it would be fine. No one would ever make the mistake again.
Yep.
And then two, Beef, I think the other part of this is that you're thinking that there's like two people arguing against each other, but what it really is two people shouting at each other and then telling their buddies in the DMs, look at how I like shit on this guy. I dunked on that dude.
Exactly.
Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? So
that's the
my suck summer. You know what? I do care. My suck summer. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm fine. Kids are going back to school slowly but surely. We had the youngest one started up today. Had a half day. My wife came down before the show started, and she goes, May left something in her sister's room, and we have to go in and get it. And we went in there, and the youngest was already asleep. So she was in there for like 3 minutes unattended, and was out. So
wonderful.
Life is just going to hit her pretty hard. She was there for half a day today, and already she's not doing so hot. We also went to the Sox game. Any little bit
of school, my sucks summer. Any little bit of school sucks. Everyone knows that.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yes. I asked her, I go, what did you learn today? She's like, I don't know. I have no idea. I was like, great, good.
That's what I learned.
Tracy and I graduated from that grade school, so we concur.
I actually,
you guys turned out really well. You're doing fine.
I graduated with a degree, and I don't know what I learned.
But so I had an experience today, and it made me feel really good, and I wanted to share it. And I'm going to try to explain it. I don't know if it'll be as convoluted as the Billy Bryan stuff, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Is it why you were out of breath when you joined this show?
No, not at all.
Okay.
We'll talk about that later in the second half of the show.
Last night we were in the seats, and I had seen an advertisement for a huge garage sale, or a sale at a church thing, and the cross streets were Harvard and 67th, and I was like, I don't know if this is a good place to go, because Inglewood is right there, and I've heard bad things about Inglewood, and I don't know if that's the West Coast one or this one that I'm supposed to stay away from, but I imagine it's probably both. But I asked Loaf, I'm like, dude, it's should I go down there? He's like, oh, you'll be fine. He's like, it's gonna be daytime, don't worry about it. And I'm not don't get me wrong, I go into some pretty interesting neighborhoods during the week, during the day, and I'm not at all freaked out by it. And so then I got down there today, and I drive in, and I'm not feeling uneasy at all. And as soon as I get into the neighborhood, not uneasy. I park the car, still not uneasy. Walk right up into the thing, and it's not 13 seconds in is some woman that goes to my daughter, hey, here's a big bag of hair bows, and I was like, we're in the right place, because this is all made is these big huge bows that you put on the JoJo Siwa. So she's like, you should take these. So she did. And then we went around, and it's an old school, fun, kind of stuff for a guy that does stuff that I do, right? It's just boxes that people have dropped off at the church. This is my donation. It's not really separated. So it's separated clothes, kitchen stuff, kind of.
Untouched.
And toys.
Untouched.
Right. No one has gone through it.
Yeah.
So there's good surprises and there's bad surprises, right? You don't know. I was looking through some stuff, and there's a half a box full of Hungry Jack. No one's buying that. Why is that even out there? Somebody should take that and probably throw that away.
Reach into one box, got grandma's teeth. It's
right?
Okay, well,
you don't know what you're gonna find, right? A retainer that might fit. You're not sure. So
I don't like how they did this. I think you should have to buy the box, just the whole box,
sight unseen,
unopened,
sealed box. You can
pick up in the box.
So I'm going through, and I'm the clothes were so it's a folding table, a long folding table, and it's stacked 3 foot high. I'm like, I ain't going through any clothes, because that's way too much effort for me. And I'm probably not going to find anything good. It don't matter. So then I keep moving around, and we get over to the jewelry table, and the two women that were working the jewelry table just kept throwing stuff at my daughter. She's like, here, you need this. You like this? She's my daughter. Anything you ask her, if she likes it, absolutely take it. So we fill up 3 bags full of stuff. Yeah, I get toys.
Take any junk people are gonna give you too.
Mm-hmm. Most of the time, I'll take it. And so I pack up 3 bags. I got some vintage Tinker toys in there. I got good stuff. Lincoln Logs, made in USA Lincoln Logs, which I'm sure are worth a couple bucks. And I go up to the lady, and I put all the stuff down, and the woman just looks at everything, And she's like, $10. And I was like, you guys are, I go, what's the goal? And she's like, we're trying to raise money to resurface the gym floor. I go, here is $20 and you can keep that. All right, I'm back. You can keep the extra 10 and we're good to go. And that was just, it was just something like, I was just upset with myself that I was like, I'd fallen into this mind trap, which most people do when they come into like the south side of Chicago. Oh man, it's going to be really bad over in this area, or this is going to be bad. And not thinking that it's people. It's not anything but just people. And like everyone was so kind-hearted. Everyone was so nice. They prayed while we were looking through all this junk. It was great. And, I said amen. May said amen. It was great. It was just, we had a good time. They gave her some hash browns and some French fries. And like, once again, if you tell my daughter, here, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? And like, she was just plowing it. No, there were no records, Jack. Sean, there were no bobbleheads. So it was just, that was it was a downer. I was looking for it, but I did find a bunch of vintage stuff that like old McDonald's toys, even like some weird ones. Like I was like, oh, I got to try this up. Old Pez dispenser. I'm not even sure I've ever seen it before. And it looked, blatantly bad. Like it just doesn't look great, but yeah. So Sal,
I wish, Teresa, I wish we could open up a mic for White Sox Sal to just say his comments.
I'm like only Sal not anymore. Putting his comments up because like they're coming in such high volume. Like
did he say something else too? He said something before the junk lady.
When you said that, it was.
He said untouched virgin junk.
It's awesome though. It is.
When you said that it was at a church, I almost was positive you're going to tell me that you got a Sherman Helmsley bobblehead. Like I thought, like from Amen.
You know what's funny though? The one thing, and I'll just say this, and then we'll move on to you, Teresa, because I want to know how you're doing. There was a whole box of like the old, I don't know even what they call them, but the priests wear around their necks, not the habits, but like when they're like, so it's like it's in Lent and they wear like the Advent robing that's purple. There was a shitload of those like in a box, and I was like, should I buy this? Like I was so close because I'm like, these would be really useful, possibly. Like somebody could become the priest of the 108. The deacon. I could have the Pope.
I'd be willing to be the Pope of the 108, the Papa.
I think that would work. You'd have to get you the big hat. You got to get you the big
penis
I'm
one.
100%. I'm 100% burning in hell already. So like,
what's the risk? There's no.
We're just piling on. It's just a little bit more gasoline, a little white gas on the fire.
White gas.
So white gas is an old thing with me and Beef because we used to go camping. My grandfather would always bring a can of white gas to start the fire, like this tiny little fire that we're gonna have like in there. He'd bring fucking gasoline, basically, and
big jug
we were there one time, and we're pretty young still. I think we're not at the age where we're drinking in front of the family, but Mad Max
teenage 17. 16.
Mad Max had some beers, and he's sitting out there with us. We're all just talking shit. We got the fire going, and the fire's starting to die down. And this one dude goes, I'm gonna get some of this white gas and start it back up. And the dude takes like a solo cup full of white gas and throws it into the fire. And we all like took a step back, But what we didn't realize was that Mad Max had kind of fallen asleep in his seat, and the fire just washed over him and then back. And we were all just kind of like, whoa, what just happened? He was completely fine. Like nothing happened to him. Like he's the fucking lead singer of Rammstein. Like it just like fire washes over the dude and he just like wakes up like 5 minutes later. He's like, I'm going to go to bed. Still had eyebrows and everything.
Incredible. Absolutely.
How are you doing, Teresa?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. So I've got a couple two tree things real quick. I want to just say, first of all, so I'm heading out of town this weekend. I'm going to go visit the in-laws, and I think I might be able to sneak in an Orioles game.
Ooh.
And I was like, I wonder what I should get when I'm at the Orioles game. And I was like, oh shit, I don't got to worry about that because my man Luke already wrote what I should go and drink.
Yes, he did.
So I'm already all hooked up for it. Beef, he wrote a blog about that.
It was
Not
a good
you.
one too. I
You wrote a
enjoyed
blog
it. I
about
ingested
that.
it. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So hopefully,
The juicy
I can make-
apricot beer. Go get one of them.
hopefully I can make shit work out and I'll get up there. But so what I really wanted to talk about was something that I found very interesting, but then very enjoyable. So we're at Barren Plains practice the other night, playing some songs, and our buddy Garrick has just moved back from Pittsburgh back to Chicago, and he was filling in on drums, because we got no drummer right now, looking for a drummer. And so he's playing drums, and in between songs we're like just talking some shit, and our one guitarist starts playing some Billy Squier, and he's like, remember Billy Squier, man? He's like, and Garrick's like, dude, I just watched a thing about, or read a thing about him or something, and it was like, apparently Billy Squier, and like, I don't know a lot about Billy Squier. I remember him. I remember some of his tracks, but apparently like he was like on top of the world, and then he filmed this video for, I think it's like Rock the Night or Rockin' Night or something like, and the video was so bad that it ruined his career. and like so I was laughing about it. I was like, could you imagine? Like I just kind of felt like they're overblowing this and like all this stuff. And so I'm at the game sitting with Beef on, I think this was Tuesday night.
Yeah,
right?
it was on Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. And a bunch of people in the section, people wearing 108 gear, and the guy right behind us wearing a 108 shirt, and we had been chatting a little bit with him. And I start telling Beef about it, and I pull up the video, and he's like, oh, and he names the video, and he's like, never listened to him after that. And like, and he's like, dude, he's like, people just abandoned this dude. Like his career just went to nothing. He's like, I had his tapes in my like stack of tapes, but I took out the liner so that people wouldn't know that I had Billy Squier tapes in here after that video.
Man.
That's how bad this video is. And
I'll
put
song?
It up. I'll put it up later. Just put up. Just type in Billy Squier
Stroking.
Dance. No, it's not.
Stroking?
It's not Stroking. No, because that's a Stroke Me's a huge hit.
Yeah.
And so is Lonely as the Night. Like those are big hits. It's something else. But like if you just put in Billy Squier dance video, like this shit comes up right away. And you got to see it. It's unbelievable. And what I was laughing about was like he's doing this, right? And his managers are telling him this is fantastic. Like they saw this video that ruined his career and they were like, spot on. This is
This is the art we're trying to make.
This is what we've been looking for. This is the way to really catapult this thing. You're playing stadiums now. You'll be playing bars that no one's at very soon.
It's weird that a video, especially in the 80s, that a video could take a career like that. Especially a career that had been going, because there's so many shitty videos in the 80s, right? When videos were just coming along, like any video that Mick Jagger is in the 80s is horrendous. Beast of Burden, Dancing in the Street, or whatever, all the shit. That's the one with David Bowie, right? And Beast of Burden's the one with what's her name? All horrible. Those are all horrible videos. Did nothing to his career.
The Bowie Jagger video is like one of the worst videos of all time, and somehow that still catapulted them up. Billy Squier just ruined by one video.
That's how fragile it is, man. Just that much, that little bit right there.
But if we were rockers, right? Like, the Rolling Stones didn't know anything about making a video. They probably didn't even understand it. They were just like, bro, we know how to do drugs and bang chicks. That's all we can do. Like, we don't need to do any of this. So somebody else is coming in. They're like, hey, listen, this is some artsy fartsy guy. He just got out of the Art Institute at New York. Like, he knows how to work the video editing equipment. So he wrote together this script, and we want you guys to play this. Like, Jagger, you're good. Yeah, whatever. You're going to be smoking cigarettes, looking through a fucking window shade, and the light's going to come down on you, in a certain way. And then we're going to turn it purple. And then you're going to ash out the cigarette and then start doing the twists. Like, like this is like really like avant-garde, like off the wall, crazy bullshit, right? I would say the best person that like knew how to do videos back then was like, and it's bad, but Michael Jackson. Like he knew he knew how to sell those things.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I will tell you that one of the videos that would never be made today is the Paul McCartney Michael Jackson video. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. Go give that a watch if you could find it.
No,
that is not.
Say.
That's
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's say. That
The
is
girl is mine. I think it's the girl is mine.
Cancelable. Like,
yeah.
look, I guarantee. I haven't finished McCartney 3-2-1, but I'd love him to touch on that topic.
Oh God.
That should be an interview question.
Listen, it's going to be very similar.
There he is. Yes.
Very similar to the Ice-T question. Why did you do that? And you'd be like, listen, if they put a big dump truck of money in front of your house, you fucking do anything. And that's probably why he did it.
I think McCartney was trying to finagle back the rights to all the Beatles songs, right? Because Michael Jackson buy them.
Yes.
Yeah, they had to buddy up with him so he can get that back.
What a horrible move by business move there. No.
All right. Let's do a quick show poll here, guys. And I'm going to throw the question at you. You guys can go first. I'll go last.
Ooh.
This is your favorite gym class sport or game?
Yes.
I said activity, so I'm going to do sport and game. All right, sport and game.
Activity's fine. Activity's fine. Don't retype anything. Just give me an answer.
Whatever you do in gym class.
My sucks summer.
I'm going first. I thought you said him first.
I was gonna, but then you interrupted me, so you go first now.
I'm sorry. Fucking kickball, easiest fucking thing to ever. Kickball is the best goddamn game, sport, anything you ever played. Most of the time, I don't know about you guys, but our field was not at our place, so we had to walk across the street over to the park, and we played kickball over there. Best fucking time. We would play it for a week, 1 year, during the year, and best one. Kickball. That's my choice.
Ooh, that's a good one. It's not the best one though. It's clearly the best choice of anything you play in gym class is dodgeball. Because never in the rest of your life are you going to get to play a game so malicious and yet so fun. And you know what? The key to winning in dodgeball, I'll tell you, because you'd break up into groups in dodgeball. If you got to get the one or two most athletic ladies in your class, because they become stone cold killers in the dodgeball game. That's who to watch out for. And also, if you're tall like we are, you got to stay in the back at the beginning. You're too susceptible up front if you're tall. Like my son Summer and I are too tall. They'll throw low on us, and they're going to get us. You stay back, and if anyone gets hit with the ball, you can catch off the carom, and plus you can get a good running start for the throw. So dodgeball was always my game. I always look forward to playing dodgeball in gym class.
You find out playing dodgeball in grade school and high school who the sociopaths are in your class because they're because they go for the face and then they hit in the face and the kid is crying, nose is bleeding, and they sit there with a blank stare like nothing happened. It's chilling. I will so you took the best one. I mean that one's probably gonna win, but I'm gonna go with one that I love, and for a similar reason to what I was just explaining, which is flag football. Because flag football is basically, you're just taking the flag off somebody, but you always find out who's the asshole because they're going to just destroy somebody. They're just going to tackle somebody midfield. And it's just like they're going to Kimbo slice a guy running over the middle for the ball. And it's still a fun game. You need a little bit of terror to really appreciate flag football. So, those guys getting hit over the middle, you got to be a little scared so you could really enjoy it. It's like a roller coaster.
Absolutely. But now, what was the game? While my sock was getting the pull up there, what was the game we played on the little scooters? There was always a little scooter game. You sit on the scooters. What the hell was that?
Oh yeah,
that's what I was gonna go with.
I couldn't remember
initially.
the name of it though.
But they stopped. We used to have a cage ball. And we were on the scooter, and it would be, they called it cage ball hockey or something. I don't know. Yeah, but they had there was 6 where you underneath the basket where you run into the brick wall where the cushions were, and that would be the goal. But then you had to be on the scooter, but so many kids got their fingers broken and they got so fucked up. I saw a person get their finger just pulled out of their thing because they went to grab the cage ball by the laces and throw it. So we had to stop playing it midway through my grade school career. But that was one of the best ones. You could kick the fuck out of that ball. That was so fun. But I was none of these kids ever played that shit because it was illegal by the time they got big.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was gone.
So I had to go with that. So that's what we played. I also liked cage, or I also like floor hockey. Like those were fun days.
Floor
Floor
hockey
hockey
was
was
fun. The only other one I had was Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence. That was a favorite in my class.
Hockey wasn't really big in our community, but if you had the one kid who was good at floor hockey on your team, then you could run that shit, man. And in my class, I think my class there was Rocco Pasole. I don't know if you remember Rocco. You remember Rocco?
I do remember Rocco.
I see him every once in a while in the neighborhood. He's still somewhere around here, but he could really play floor hockey. So if you got him on your team, you're good, man. You're gonna kick everybody's ass.
I'd love to find out that he's still playing floor hockey.
He's still Wilson CC playing floor hockey every Thursday night or something like that. Smoking cigarettes in between periods.
The Olympics are bringing floor hockey in. Oh, who do we got from the U.S.? Oh shit, it's Rocco.
That's absolutely right.
I got a different question for you fellas. What are you drinking?
Oh yeah.
Beef, what are you drinking, buddy?
I'm using the little fridge Adair today, and I'm drinking the Goose Island Sox Ale.
Ooh,
Favorite.
that is delicious.
My Sox Summer said the Goose Island Sox Ale tastes fresh forever. And I actually
It does.
agree with that. It does.
Yes.
It continues tasting fresh forever and ever. And so I'm going to try to knock back a 6-pack. I started the show with an X-Coast IPA just to get some delicious IPA flavors in my mouth. And now we're going to go with the Golden Ale.
I love it. What are you drinking there, My Sox Summer?
I'm drinking the 312 Shandy.
Oh,
Hell yeah. That's
delicious.
a good one. Like I got that, and I got some regular 312 in there, and then if things get crazy, we'll see. I got the pineapple lemonade natter days. So if you guys have not tried that,
those are good.
You need to try it because anything with pineapple makes it better. Like anything that you add pineapple makes it better. So just try it.
Yeah, those were a pleasant treat you brought by. Both of those. I mean, both of those are great summer deliciousness.
And Sal, I was going to tweet and I forgot. I learned in college many years ago, beer before hard, you're in the yard. So I did not, or like it's beer before liquor, never sicker. There's two different ones that I learned. I could not go from drinking 6 beers at the game today to then turn around and start drinking Jack Daniels. Like I just couldn't do it tonight. So call me a pussy, whatever. I don't care. I got to stick with the beer tonight. So I am sorry, Sal. Next time.
Would not handle it. His internet would crash if he had the whiskey tonight. The whiskey would get him and his internet connection.
Roxy, I appreciate you tuning in tonight, but I hate Oktoberfest beer. I posted the blog about it. Feel free to read it. It's just I don't like the Marzen style. No, I don't like it.
Guys, I'm gonna make the trifecta here. We got an all goose show tonight.
Hey,
The next ghost.
Did you finally pick them up from your brother or what?
He brought it because it was the Field of Dreams game.
I drove it over.
The non-electricity, non-internet day for Beef was this Field of Dreams day. So he brought over some delicious Next Coast and some delicious Sox Golden Ale. I haven't got to the Sox Golden Ale yet. I'm still working through the Next Coast because it's you shouldn't have a lot of these, but I'm gonna.
No.
All right.
I respect your game.
Beef, I feel like you want to talk to us about something.
I do want to talk to you about something. Not so much you two, but the listening audience. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on the live stream right now and haven't subscribed, make sure you tickle the undercarriage of the subscribe button and get on board. If you're listening on the podcast feed and have never enjoyed the eroticism that is the YouTube version of this show, just come to youtube.com/FromThe108 and hit the subscribe button. The current goal is 1,000 subscribers, but we're trying to get up from there. So once we get to 1,000, we're going to keep going. But we want you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. This is where we're putting out a lot of content. We're going to put out a lot more. So get your ass in there.
We're not going to stop asking for subscribers after we hit 1,000. I thought that was the goal. I'm sorry. I thought we were going to stop.
I'm never going to ask. I'm never going to stop asking for anything. I'm going to keep asking people for things.
Always ask.
Constantly. I'm going to show up at people's houses and ask them to do things. Like subscribe or buy merch. Like I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kidnap anybody or anything.
Legend.
I don't think. All right.
Or
what? Oh, what are you going to do there?
No. I'm waiting for you to jump in. Or.
Oh, I was going to say, or My Sox Summer could pay some bills.
Yes. Or buy a car. So I went to the game today. Just a little slow, getting my notes together. So guess what? Pop quiz time. Name that sponsor. Big supporters of all things White Sox. They sell cars, and they are not Jagoffs, as you can see on the graphic there. What's your guess? Damn right. Mazda of Orland Park. Motherfucking Mazda of Orland Park. Them guys down there off 159th. They have a ton of new and certified used cars vehicles available to choose from. You know that car you see in the concourse at Sox Park, and I think it actually got moved out to the outside and then back in. So I think it's back in now. Yep, that's a 2021 Mazda CX-3 SP. Was donated by Mazda of Orland Park to the White Sox charity. Like us 108ers, they like watching the Sox donating money to good causes and tipping back a few brews. And I don't know what they're dominating, but I'm sure they're good at it. Does that sound like a guy you want to borrow a car from? Absolutely. Of course it fucking does. So give them a follow over at Zoom Zoom Nation and check out their worldwide webpage, MazdaofOrlandPark.com. They are a Carfax top-rated dealer and take advantage of that $500 discount for Sox fans. Fuck off, Cub fans. Mazda of Orland 8910 West 159th Street, Orland Park, 708-444-3200. Zoom Zoom.
Yes. Yes.
Love it. Was driving the Mazda around
Yep.
today. Feeling really good. Beautiful. Not,
Nice ride.
The air conditioning was way up. It's humid, man. It is humid out there.
So fucking hot today.
There's no question.
So I saw this comment really quick. I just want to get to this real quick. And so what's funny about this is, like, you know, there's a lot of things
you got to read it for the people listening.
Oh yeah. So it says, is there a RedTube account to like or follow from KFits? And so the funny thing about that is that, you know, there's a lot of things that we talk about and then we don't ever do, or we just, you know, or we do something differently or whatever. But one of my ideas back in the day was that we were going to release the Sunday Soak only on Pornhub.
Yeah, I remember that idea.
Just gonna be a Pornhub show. We never did that. We stuck with YouTube and Periscope, but
and it made it without it. I mean, you know,
yeah.
Surprisingly, we were able
I feel like it could have been bigger, at least thicker, if we would have done it there.
We would have upped our female subscribers, I think, possibly.
I don't think it would have.
No,
I think it would have.
I kind of doubt it, but
I do want to talk about something different, though, guys. I want to talk a little bit about some baseball. Some baseball talk. You guys ready for some baseball talk?
Let's do it.
Hell yes.
All right. So we haven't talked about this on the show yet. We talked a little bit about this in the Sunday Soak, but the Field Dreams game. Mm-hmm. I want to just get your like kind of initial reaction, thoughts, and really, was it a success? Was it what they thought it was going to be? What are the feelings on this game? I'll start with you, my Sox Summer. I feel like you're ready to erupt tonight. Give me something on this one.
I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to talk about how everyone that I've talked to that went to it, like initially I was like, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a great time. But you know that the My Sox Summer does not like festivals. And to me, this seemed like one of the biggest festivals that was probably going to happen. It's going to be like, you know, bad parking, bad this, bad that. But everyone I have talked to has like sounded off about how great it was and how it was such a magical moment. And it was, I was talking to our buddy Tim today in the 108, and I said, you know, it's like going to see your favorite band at the Metro. You know, like you have like a tenth of like a fifth of the audience, you know, that you normally would have, and you're in this, you know, cornfield. So it's got to be awesome. It's got to be awesome to see any type of a professional athlete like play. We talked about that in the Soak. You know, you could like watching like the Bulls like dominate the Pistons on your home floor, your high school home gym would have been awesome too, because you know, like just how much energy and all that shit would bring. But yeah, everyone that I talked to said it was a rousing success. Anything I've heard from the Sox people, they said it was so awesome. It was done correctly. You know, the only thing that I saw was, you know, we talked about in the Soak briefly was that, you know, they were marketing an old movie to young kids. And just tonight, like my cousin, my nephew just had come through, and we were talking on the FaceTime, and he just watched Field of Dreams with his dad, and he never would have watched that without that game. So like you're starting to instill some of this old baseball shit back in there. And like you had the most people that watched a game since like 2005 or something like that. And I think it was a regular season. Was it regular season game or was it just overall like baseball, whatever? But I know it's since 2005. They haven't had something that high. So people were interested in it and people want to see more of it. So I think it was a great success. And I just wonder, like, Sox lost the next two games. And so like this game didn't mean any more than those for the series. They lost the series. But like on a national perspective, like to me, it was everything. Like all the eyes were on that. No one's going to remember that they lost the two right after, but they're going to remember that they won at the Field of Dreams on the first one. The first
in spectacular fashion.
Yes, you had all the shit that you wanted in a game. You had the highs and the lows and the valleys, and you're up and you're down and all that. And plus, I guess it was hot as hell. So, like, you were really starving for it. So, no, I was not a naysayer. I didn't think $400 was like all that great of a price, but I didn't think it was that bad. Like, I can understand that. But
that's where the rubber meets the road, though, on what you were saying earlier.
Well, but it did for my father. My dad definitely. He was like, I don't know about that. But I don't think like it's a special experience and something that you can't.
It most certainly is a special experience.
Never going to be able to replicate something like that.
Yeah, you can't recreate that. But that's where I question people telling you, "Oh, it was great," because if you spent $400 on something, you would not be wanting to tell people it wasn't great. And we heard some other reports from there that they were running out of concessions, that it was incredibly fucking hot, that it was total bench seating, so you didn't really even have like a regular seat. It's a long drive with not a lot of accommodations in the area, hotels and stuff like that. To me, just seeing it all unfold, and we could have tried to get into the lottery or whatever, I had zero interest. I must be at the age where that looks totally uncomfortable and inconvenient for me to go watch in person, so I have no interest in it. But as a TV product, I thought it was terrific, save for the 2 innings of weird shit with Kevin Costner. And I'm not anti-Kevin Costner. I enjoyed a Kevin Costner interview on Tim Ferriss's podcast a couple years back. It's not like he's uninteresting. It's just I don't know if he was hammered or high or whatever the fuck was going on, but he was bad, and I didn't want to listen to him anymore.
I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, what he was just yammering on about random bullshit, I kind of think there's 2 parts to this. Part number 1 is having like a standalone game that all the baseball world can watch. And they set it up that way, right? It was day games or there were no starts until like 9 o'clock. So that window with that 6 o'clock start was absolutely just that game. And then I read this in Joe Sheehan's newsletter, and he's right about it. It's a rare time where baseball gets Fox to promote a fucking game like a football game. They promoted that like a football. It felt like Sunday Night Football to me. It felt like you got it. And Sunday Night Football does it right. They build it all up. So it's like you got to stay and watch that game. You've been watching football all fucking day, and you're tired, and you might be a little drunk, but it's like you're going to stick with it. You got to stay with Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth because you got to see what's going to happen in this game.
Right.
Baseball doesn't do any of that ever. Baseball is content to be a fucking afterthought when it comes to these types of things, which is ridiculous. Like, they should find a path to have standalone games like that more often. It doesn't have to be in a cornfield, and it most certainly doesn't have to be in that cornfield again. And then the other part is, I like the idea of putting, and we've talked about this a couple times since the game happened, I like the idea of putting a makeshift baseball stadium fucking anywhere, right? And I don't know what it costs to do that, but they wedged that motherfucker in there and put 8,000 people or whatever. And if you could get people to pay $400, a shot, go for it, baby. And fill 8,000 people, but put on a good TV production from an exotic locale and get people to watch it because holy shit, this is a standalone game. It's at the Grand Canyon, and there's no fence, and there's a home run line. And if Eli goes back too far, all right, he's not coming back off the IL. I was thinking about it from that perspective. I was thinking, what other places could you put one of these games and would be ridiculous? How about on the casino floor at the Wynn and have the red AstroTurf, like the red carpet there, that you get down like that? How about Venice Beach, right where on the ocean, where Billy Hoyle and Sidney Dean defeated Eddie the King Farouk and Duck Johnson? Wouldn't that be a great spot to just fucking put a baseball stadium right there in the beach and have a TV production there? What about Yellowstone Park? A couple three of them geysers behind there. Niagara Falls. You could put, I don't know, Canadian or American side, but you'd have the, kind of the great scenery. If they're going to do this again, do it in a way in which it's hyped up like a goddamn Sunday Night Football game. And don't make it the exact same novelty. Like reusing the Field of Dreams is going to be, no one's going to care. No one's going to give a shit if they go back there.
I'm with you. That they can go back there. It's got to be a long time from now.
They're
going back next year.
I know they're going to. It's a bad idea. But let me ask you guys a question. Let me ask you guys a question about this, because I was thinking about this. If the game had not been as good as it was, if there wasn't as high scoring as it was, would this have been the success that it was? And I'll say it this way. If this was such a success, if this was such a great idea, if this worked so well, why wouldn't you just do your all-star game like this every year? Right? Like go to some location and do that. And it's because the games, because the
game blows.
The games would suck. Yeah, right. And so that's my problem going forward with this thing. It's not. What is not?
It's not. That's not the reason that you would not do your all-star game there. The all-star game is a three-pronger, right? It's to get to a local stadium and dump a bunch of money into that area. That place in Iowa, there's nothing to dump into. Like, and you're not giving back to any owner or any team. Like that is the all-star game is a reward.
It doesn't have to be Iowa, my sex summer. It could be a Negro League stadium in one of the cities that already has a team. Like, and you can do it that way, right?
Okay,
but I'm just saying
that would be different, but still,
it would be different in the sense that it would be a different place. But it would. The problem is like the game's got to be good, and I think the problem that I see with baseball doing this moving forward is they're going to want to get the most popular teams. And the most popular teams aren't always that good, right? Like if this would have been Cubs Cards this year, who the fuck would have watched that?
Yeah,
like Cubs and Cardinals fans would have watched it. I probably would have watched like 2 innings and been like, Jesus, I don't want to hear more about Kevin Costner or watch more of this game. I'm gonna tune out. Like I would do something else.
That's what Sunday Night Football does. They flex the better games to those
exactly.
Games. So you're gonna have to line it up where it's the top-notch teams and teams. It's going to get away. It's kind of the way Sunday Night Football broke from Monday Night Football, right? Monday Night Football started leaning on the stupid model that ESPN uses where it's all Yankees and Red Sox and shit. Most of the nation doesn't give a fuck about them teams if they're not world beaters. So what you've got to make sure you do is get good teams. That's what Sunday Night Football, NBC sweeped them and said, we're going to make a big brand here and we're going to steal Al Michaels and we're going to put the best fucking game of the week in this spot. And if the baseball did that, if they did a standalone, even if they did that shit once a month, it would help put baseball more on the map. I'm looking forward to that big game. That's a big game, you know. And
right.
If you get a little cooperation from the teams, you can get some pitching matchups lined up real nicely for those. You get the appropriate off days lined up in there, and you can get some heavyweight pitching matchups in those spots against good teams. I agree with you, Treasy. I think one of the most important parts was that the teams were really good, and it was a good game.
Yeah. And what I said in the soak on Sunday, I still stick to if you're going to do this is last year's World Series matchup you do in the season because you could flex those games in. You could figure that out. You could even do a 2-game series, right? Like where depending on what you're doing, or just do a full series somewhere, right? Like if you could because the stadium in this case had 8,000 people, right? Like so the teams weren't as down with this, right? But like you could find a stadium that's going to hold, 15, 20,000 people that you can, like as we were talking about, like some of the old Negro League ones that they're rebuilding and some of these other things some of these other stadiums that just exist in these smaller areas. You could have a team go, okay, well, we're going to use this place and we're going to charge $200 for this game and it's going to be awesome. And they'll make as much as they would from a regular home game. So I don't think it's going to be, I don't think it's like it right now. It feels like sacrificing a home game because you went to a place that holds, 8,000 people. Right. But you don't have to do that every time.
Now, do you think as an additional layer to this, if you're going to do this, it's got to be Joe Buck or it's got to be a big guy who's doing the announcing, correct?
I think it should be Jason Benetti.
I think Jason would probably be on the short list of people who would be a guy who would be doing this game. But you gotta be mindful of that as well. Like make it. It's got to like the reason why Sunday Night Football worked was all that stuff plus Al Michaels, right? Al Michaels is a big recognizable voice. And when you hear his voice coming through your TV screen, you know something important's about to happen.
I'm gonna go a different way, Beef. I'm gonna go a different way. I'm gonna say that the World Series winner gets their crew to be on Fox for the game. Their home crew. Because you know why? Because like the home crew is like this, they're homers, man, and they're rooting for their team. And you know what? If you don't like that one, the losing team is on FX. You could go watch it on FX.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
You got SpongeBob over there.
I watched that broadcast, by the way.
It was
when
interesting.
When the Bears playoff game was on Nickelodeon, I watched 100% of the game on Nickelodeon for that game.
That doesn't surprise me.
I heard it was fun. I heard it was good.
It wasn't bad.
I'd watch another playoff game like that, even if it wasn't my home team. It's fun.
All right. I mean, I think we all agree.
Thanks for humoring me.
Field of Dreams is a terrible movie, and no one needs to watch it ever. But I mean, so that was the start of the Yankee series, and it was a tremendous start to the series. The next two games, not so great. So what I want to ask you guys, I'm going to ask you two things. But the first thing is, one thing that worried you about the Yankees series. My suck summer, go ahead.
So I feel like my what worried about me, like what I was worried about, and then consequently what we're going to do next, like are almost interconnected. But like the biggest thing that I think was worrisome is that we don't see this team stepping up and making shit happen until we really need to make it happen. Like, it's just like, we can't in the third inning say, let's get some hits, or, hey, let's move these runners. Hey, let's lay down a bunt, let's steal, let's do this, whatever, oh, that's horrible.
It's like spilling all over my desk right now.
Well, you deserve it, to be honest. You fucking deserve it for pouring it like a fucking jackass. But seriously, like the thing that I think the biggest thing is that the team seems to drop off, get disinterested for some reason, and not be able to connect and make shit fucking happen. And that's like probably the hardest thing, to watch, because you're like, just fucking, it's the big cat gif out there. Just fucking figure it out, just do something and do it right. Like, what are you doing? And we were talking about this. I don't know what day it was because we drank so much this week. I was like, you have these big fucking claws and you don't know how to fucking kill the bunny. You have these big fucking huge guys that hit the fucking shit out of the ball, and you can't figure out how to get a goddamn base hit with no outs in the fucking third with two people on. It's just like, do it. Somebody needs to make this happen. So we've been getting lucky, I think, so far with people stepping up. Next guy up, and now that is kind of gone away because we have our actual rotation in there, and they're not there yet. So that was probably the biggest thing that I saw that was very worrisome to me.
Beef, what are you worried about, man?
You know what? I'm not as worried about. We had the bullpen guys have some issues. I wasn't that worried about it. Those are one-off. That shit happens. And like my stock summer said, we kind of took a while to get going. But when we did get going, I always felt like we had opportunities at the end of those games to win. And even in the Saturday night game, Jose Abreu tying the game up in the ninth inning, we were going nuts. I mean, we all felt like the White Sox come back and win this game right now. So I'm not worried so much about that stuff. What I'm worried about is the thing that has buoyed this team the entire way through all the injuries, protected their bullpen's lousy performance early on. I'm worried about how our starting pitching is reacting to when they're facing a top-notch team, especially a top-notch offensive team like the Yankees here. Just this series, we had Lynn, Cease, and Giolito go. Combined, the three starters in the three games went 14 innings only and almost a 6 ERA across the group. And they all got to 100 pitches. And Giolito only finished 4 innings. The other two guys finished 5. But the problem here is they're getting worn down too quickly against a strong offense like that. An offense that's going to foul the ball off, an offense that's going to take a lot of pitches. I mean, even in the Cease start, he didn't allow a walk, but he rendered 103 pitches in 5 innings. I mean, these are the types of teams that really wear you down, and you've got to be more efficient with those pitches, because as happy as we are about the White Sox getting Craig Kimbrell and him extending the bullpen, they're not going to be able to handle 5 games like that, in 5 days or 6 days, where the starters go 4 or 5 innings and the bullpen's just going to get rocked over that period. We haven't seen too much Michael Kopech on back-to-back days. We haven't seen much Garrett Crochet on back-to-back days. Luckily, Aaron Bummer is kind of getting his stroke back, but how are these guys going to look when they got to pitch 3 days in a row if the starters can't kind of get into the 6th inning, get into the 7th inning? And so my biggest concern, and I'll be looking out for it this weekend as well with the Rays. The Rays tend to strike out a lot, so they'll use a lot of pitches on you too, kind of like similar to the Yankees. I'm interested to see if our starters can get a little deeper in these games because we're going to need this. We're built the way we're going to need our starters to eat up more innings than that in a playoff series.
Fuck yes. And you're right.
Yeah, oh, good.
No, that's all. I just was just capping it off before you came in with the real good info. Like I was just hyping it up. I'm just flaving it right there. I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. And then like give it to you, and then you tell me statistically why me hyping it is right. That's what I want.
I'm doing the same thing as you, my Sox Summer, because I'm just going to pile on top of that because that's the thing that I'm worried about. It is similar beef is when they face a lineup without soft spots. How do they handle that? And like you saw it the other day, I think it was the catcher made like 5 of the 27 outs and should have been 6. And because they couldn't get these other guys out. And so like if there's a team that doesn't have, 3 or 4 guys that just suck, they're not pitching as well against those teams. And I mean, obviously you shouldn't pitch as well against those teams, but it seems like a lot of times that they're relying on this kind of dead ass end of an order to get through some of these innings.
Right.
And so I think that worries me a little bit. Right. And let me just say right off the bat, I'm not worried.
I'm generally not worried.
I am not worried.
Right.
But I mean, this is the thing that you're going to see in the playoffs, right? Most of the teams that you're going to play in the playoffs have tremendous lineups top to bottom.
Right.
They're going to look like our lineup, right? Where like the number 8 hitter or the number 9 hitter is Sebi, and it's like, yeah, he's not very good, but like he'll hit a home run, he'll run into one, and that's you got to worry about that. Like that's we're the low end of that, right? Like a lot of these teams just are top to bottom. Just mashers. I mean, like you look at that Astros lineup. That Astros lineup is wild. Like I don't want to face that. And we didn't face it with Bregman, so we're going to face it with Bregman. That said, I want to get into the things that kind of gave us some hope from that series, and I'm going to start.
Okay,
I'm going to start because you know what? You guys aren't going to have the same thing as me. You know why I know you're not going to have the same thing as me?
What's that?
What I have.
Okay.
Menachino's boys don't quit. They, and this is obviously it's in jest about the Menachino magic, but I do love it. I do love that picture of him. That picture is, I mean, I might get that tattooed on my ass, like next to my Roy Orbison.
That's right.
But really, what I'm talking about here is that like this team is starting to hit, and you're starting to see guys perform. If Eloy had played all season, goddamn, the 74 would have came in. Like I have no doubt.
Yeah.
But like Abreu's hitting, like Timmy's having some good games here and there that are exciting. Guys are coming around. Luis Robert looks good. Like all these guys are doing well. And if Makata could start, catching fire. Beef, I think you said it in the spaces the other day. What if he just like lights up the playoffs, right? Like,
he certainly could, right?
You're looking at like I go to the game now and I'm watching this and I'm just sitting there going like, we're in every game.
Yeah.
We're just absolutely in every game. We could be down 7-0, and I will probably pull out my phone to see what the live line is, to see if I could donk $50 to turn into like 350, right?
Exactly, yes.
Like that's how confident I've become in these bats, and like I really feel like we're always in the game, and I really feel like you've got across your bullpen, you've got competent enough guys that we're never just throwing it away, right? Mitch Moreland is not pitching for us, all right? We're not putting in the position player because down 7, there's still a chance.
There's hope.
So,
yeah, exactly.
So I think that's the thing that like encouraged me about the series with the Yankees. The Yankees are no joke, man. And their bullpen is no joke. And you go out there and you stay in all these games, you win the Field of Dreams game come from behind. Now, obviously, we didn't face Chapman, we didn't face Cole, but at the same time, you keep hitting as the game goes on. You keep making any mistake that a team makes, you're jumping on, and that's important because you play a team like like the Twins or something, and it's mistake after mistake after mistake, and you win the game eventually.
Yeah, you get used to it, right? Because they give you so many opportunities to win it. Yep.
But a team like the Yankees, a team like Oakland, you're going to get a couple mistakes in there, and you got to take advantage of them. And they're doing it, and they're doing exactly what you want them to do in those situations. And I think we talked to one Daniel Palka, over time. And then we've heard him in interviews, and like the one thing that he always, kind of talked about with his struggles was like, you get one pitch in an at bat that's hittable in the major leagues, and he was fouling him off and missing him and things like that, and like that was what he kind of harped on, is like, this is why this has gone poorly, right? And so,
absolutely,
the Sox hitters are not missing on those. Right, especially late in the game, and that's important, man. I mean, like today, I didn't get to watch much of the game, but they did score a run in the ninth inning. Right, they were down, they scored a run in the ninth inning. That's what you're looking for. You want that out of these teams that are going to go far, and so I that encourages me about the team. Steve, how about you, man?
I totally agree with you. I'm going to cheat a little bit on my answer because the main thing that gives me hope is a guy who you and I mean. James Fegan got a little upset at us because we said he said it was hyperbole and was hot take action. But you and I have long said for years and years and years that if Luis Robert becomes a 6 or 7 WAR monster, this team has got no concerns. This team is going to be a contender for a decade, and he's the one who has me encouraged. He's getting back in the swing of things. He hasn't done anything in 3 months. And what does he do? The 3 games against the Yankees and the 4 games against Oakland, he's 11 for 25. That's a 440 batting average with a double, 2 dongers, a stolen base. And other than when he slipped and fell in the outfield, because the Sodfather's fucking slipping, all right? We're worried about Tony La Russa's age. Sodfather, you better get your shit together, all right? We can't have Luis slip and fall and get hurt out there, all right? With no lawsuits, we need him on the fucking field. So Sodfather, get your shit together. But other than that, spectacular defense out of Luis, going back to the fence, coming up on baseballs and getting to them. And so I'm extremely encouraged that he shot out of this injury, came out of this rehab. He basically picked up where he left off because if you remember, before he got injured, he was hitting above 300 and the at-bats were terrific. He was willing to go the other way if he got a pitch that, he wasn't trying to pull off everything. He was laying off the breaking pitches away. He had just become the much more disciplined and a sensible hitter, but who could still yank one out of the ballpark for you if you make a mistake to him. So he's kept the maturity. Like he didn't lose any of the gains that he had gotten at the beginning of the season. They're just accelerating now. And so I'm super excited for Luis Robert and what's going to come. Excited for 2022 if there's baseball and beyond, but especially excited for this coming into this playoff.
I'm so bummed that MSS is not on right now, like that he's missing, because you used the terms pull off and yank in that, and
it's probably what he's doing right now.
It's very possible. If he comes back out of breath, we're gonna know. Maybe that's what it is. You never know. Who knows? He's been in the chat though, so that concerns me.
He said that he's restarting his computer, so we'll see when the Commodore 64 gets going. Then we'll let him back into the room.
He's turning the crank on the side of his computer, trying to warm it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't all caps me either in the comments there.
That's
right. I suck summer and he's out there using his government name in the comments too. Yeah. Unbelievable. Dummy. Unbelievable. So we're not even going to get to what was encouraging to him, but I'll tell you what was encouraging to him.
Yeah.
Frank Menachino. He was encouraged by Frank Menachino.
The Menachino magic.
So now there's more of us on the Menachino magic train. I'm excited to have you, my Sox Summer. Welcome aboard. All right. So we're going to get into the next thing then.
Let's do it.
And that's the Ace series. So let me just preface it with this. And the Chris Bassett thing was horrific.
Yeah, it was scary.
And I honestly myself was glad that the foul pole was there because I couldn't see it. I was my view was obstructed in that scenario, so I didn't see what happened. I've not watched footage of it. I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, I have not watched footage of it either. And I was late getting to the game that night. So on my walk, I got a message from Polish with Extra Onions about the incident. And then I'm halfway to the ballpark and the fireworks start going off for Rake Lamb's 3-run homer. So I kind of missed that 5-run inning.
Yeah. And we'll get to that stuff in a minute. But I just wanted to say, I hope he's okay. And not even I hope he's back pitching in a couple. I just hope he's okay.
Just
that was just terrifying to watch. And so it sounds like things went well. It sounds like the Sox were on top of it and they got him out of there and they got him to rush and things went as well as they could. Right. And so I'm happy for that. And I hope that he's okay. And I hope, I do hope he's back pitching and he's pitching like the pitcher that he's become, because it's great to see what Chris Bassett's become too.
Yeah, for sure. You're such a horse this year.
Oh my God. And just doing tremendous. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's you love to see a guy progress like that. It's terrible what we saw. So I'm gonna just put that out there because we need to say that before we get into the rest of this, because everything else in the series I thoroughly enjoyed. And here's the thing. The A's are always the team that fucks us, right? As long as I can remember, I mean, back in the 80s, obviously they were awesome, and that's a problem. But even in the 90s and the 2000s, I remember Eric Chavez just shoving it up our ass all the time.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I just hated the A's. And you go to that West Coast series and it's just we're just going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to be pissed off about it. They come here and somehow it's terrible here too. And then, and then Frank Thomas goes there. I mean, just everything about the A's just always kind of feel I feel uneasy about that team. To have them come here and take 3 or 4 when we could have swept them in 4 games. That was a confidence builder for me, more so than anything I've seen in the past few weeks. That was a confidence builder where I'm just yes, dominate this team that has caused you so much trouble for so long. And so I just really enjoyed that part of it. My Sox Summer, welcome back. What did you kind of tell us about your feelings on the series?
On the A's series?
The A's series, yes.
Dude, fucking rock on, man. It was the best. It was probably one of the better series that we've seen recently. I would say, as far as just as you just mentioned, confidence. And it's you're supposed to win this. So you're going out and you're winning it. And they doing so in triumphant fashion. When the old man is sending me texts at 10:15 or 10:20 when he should be sleeping or asleep in his chair watching the game, he is the bats are alive tonight. Yes, they are. They're pounding that ball. So it was just fun to see, and you knew. And you guys, I was listening while I was restarting the computer, which I'm supposed to be getting an updated computer. I don't want to jinx it, but this is supposed to be happening. So we this fun stuff, this little bit of funniness that we can have every fucking podcast might be gone. So you're gonna have to find out a new angle, Sal. Yeah. So I was listening, and it's just what you guys said, it's true. These guys they lost 2 against the Yankees, but they continually fought. It was watching 2 heavyweights go out there in this battle. And when you lose those close ones like that, or you build up that energy and you still lose, it hurts. So then to come into this series and just to just destroy a fucking team that you're supposed to destroy makes it that much better. And I don't know, today it was a close game, but today was a winnable game if we wanted to win it. Tony could have made some different choices and put some different people in, and we probably could have won this game. Yeah. It seemed like he's listen, I don't want to push these other guys. We just took 75% of this series. Fucking, I'm not hurting anybody. Let's just go with it. We'll take this L today, and these guys might fight it out and win it. Yep. So it was fun. And I also, the biggest thing, I got to check something here. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Go right ahead, Chirizi.
Oh,
No, you're kicking it back to me. I'm gonna go to beef.
I can kick it to Loaf. Let's Loaf. What you got?
I mean, Teresa didn't mention it, but I did put in the agenda. I said we took the Oakland A's fruit cocktail. How does that feel? Because that's the way I felt, right? They're another playoff team, and we embarrassed them in this series. Embarrassed them, right? And the only game that was close that we won was the game that was 3-2, and really they should have beat us. But you know what? The better team won because Lansing was able to hold off all those runners in position situations and keep them off the board. Emasculating Billy Beane and all his money balls and his old BPs and shit is just absolutely exhilarating. I can just envision Rick Hahn's already gigantic head getting even bigger, swelling even huger for beating the Moneyball guy's ass. And by the way, just thinking about this today. In the White Sox movie of 2021, whatever kind of ball they end up calling that shit, who plays Rick Hahn? Who do you guys got? I got a couple ideas here. I got Ben Affleck, Patrick Dempsey, or Paul Rudd. I think any one of those three maybe could play Hahn. What do you guys got? You got someone to play Rick Hahn in the movie?
Jeremy Piven. Like, that's the first
No.
right in my head.
He's
like,
too
Jeremy
squirrely.
Piven is Rick Hahn. Yep,
He's too
100%.
squirrely.
No,
he's
nope.
too squirrely.
Nope, I want him. And you know who I want for Brooks Boyer?
Who?
I forgot. I just had it. I'll
Great
remember
one.
it. I'll remember it in a minute. Hold on.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Beef on Entourage. Who's the guy that plays E? His manager. You remember this dude?
No.
Like that's the
Eric.
guy that I
Eric. Yeah.
because his manager, like he grew up with him, but he's like the manager in the show. Like that's who I would put as Rick Hahn. Now, he doesn't look exactly like him, but I just feel like it would be a good fit.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't have to be.
Does it have to be a character from Entourage?
Well, I mean, you think about it this way. You think Billy Beane.
Billy Beane don't look like Brad Pitt.
No, he looks nothing like Brad Pitt. Get the fuck out of here. I guess they're both tall, but who gives a fuck? I mean, they don't look
Kevin,
like
Kevin Connolly. Thank you, Luke Taylor. Kevin Connolly is the guy I was talking about.
Mailman Jack says Idris Elba as Rick Hahn.
Why not?
Down on that.
I mean, that's who's going to play Kenny.
No. Samuel L. Jackson plays Kenny, and then and then Tony La Russa is played by Abe Vigoda. I don't give a shit if Abe Vigoda's alive or not. We'll CGI his ass in there. That's the manager of this ball club, right?
I love it.
But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I mean, as My Stock Summer said, it's a ton of fun when it's another supposed good team comes in there and you just whoop their ass, And I was never worried in any of them fucking games. I mean, I wasn't at the game today where they lost, but I had no concerns in any of them games that they're going to lose. I'm like, we're going to get up on these motherfuckers. And I think maybe it's because even the game that was close, they had something called Paul Blackburn starting pitching for the A's, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, so I feel a lot of confidence right now.
Beef, real quick. What do you think about Terrence Howard as Kenny Williams? I think Terrence Howard as Kenny Williams would be good.
I could see that.
Which Terrence Howard though? And what was that movie where he was a pimp? Like, is it that kind of Terrence Howard or like weak ass Terrence Howard in some other movie?
No, I think it's like badass Terrence Howard.
All right. Because
Absolutely.
wasn't he a pimp in that one movie?
I don't know which movie you're talking about, but I'm sure he's played many roles.
Place and the time with the
in Iron Man, he played a pimp.
That's what you did right there.
So
I really wish I was high, because then I would have an excuse for a lot of this rambleness. I don't have an excuse for the.
It doesn't matter. It makes the show better. I don't give a.
So I do want to ask you guys about one thing, because we got to fucking talk about this, because this was incredible. The Lance Lynn getting kicked out. Oh. So like,
yes.
So I mean, so I was at home yesterday, and you guys were at the game.
Yep.
And like, it's unfolding on TV, and I messaged you guys because I was like, I wonder if they know that he even got kicked out. Like, because it didn't even like it was. It's only like you had to be right by the dugout to see it, So the whole thing unfolding, and I think you guys have probably seen video by now.
It's hilarious.
Like him just throwing the belt out. But what I did hear, and I think this is pretty widely known, is that like he was already coming out of the game. Like he was going into the clubhouse for treatment already, and that's why he just kind of like threw shit there, and he was just leaving the game, and then he just like tossed the belt out. And he says he's fine. He says I think he said something like, "I'll see you in 5 days." But my question to you guys is, and this is to My Stock Summer's point earlier about like, we're not trying to wear these guys out. We're not trying to get guys hurt. if Rodon is really fake injured, which I feel like he probably is, and he's probably coming off soon, and Raylo's been pitching okay, we'll see how he pitches, this weekend.
He pitches Sunday, I think. Right?
Do you put Lynn on the IL and just have him miss like a start or 2 starts? Like Lynn is your number 1 starter in the playoffs, right? Like he's your guy out of the gate.
Yep.
Like, do you just get him that rest? Like if there's something, like even something minor with him, this is the king in this kind of lead in your division. Like,
right.
do you just say like, Lance, take 10 days off?
I don't know. I are you saying that he's hurt because he had that reaction, or are you just saying that the pitching performance is?
I'm saying
is indicative of him.
He's
being
hurt because he was leaving the game at that point to get treatment in the clubhouse.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He said he needed to go get treatment, and then he also further said, as a starter, you're only feeling really good about 5 starts during the year. There's always something that's bothering you a little bit.
Yeah.
So he's just talking about the normal aches and pains, but Teresa's right. He did mention he was going to get something worked on.
Okay.
So So in the stadium, my Sox Summer, when we found out that information, you and I were both like, he probably would have been done anyway because he was really laboring out there, and he was already at 88 pitches. So we were kind of like, no big deal. He got kicked out. Who cares?
Well, we discussed it too. I thought it was like he got mad and threw the belt mostly because he's like, you're fucking thinking I'm cheating and I just got lit the fuck up for 3 innings? Like, that's like rude. Like it was rude to even say, hey, let me check your shit. Like, dude, if I'm cheating, I'm doing it horribly. I'm not like Astros level cheating right now. Okay, so just leave me alone. But yeah, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with give him a break. If he needs it, give him a goddamn break. Or, I feel this way. I'm not a professional athlete. I know this is shocking to everybody that's in this, watching this, listening to this, but like I can understand exactly what he's saying. If there's 5 fucking days that you feel good, it's like I feel like that at the gym. I always feel like shit. Like I don't want to do it. I don't want to go there. I don't think I have it in me to do it. But then you have it. And if you're a professional athlete, you definitely have it. So can he power through it? Absolutely. Do we have the chance to like give him a break? Absolutely. So why don't we just let him have a break? Like we don't need to win, like every fucking game. But if we can win, like we're doing okay. Like some guy last tonight when I was walking home there was like, fuck, Sox we're doing good, and now they just lost, a bunch of games. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I didn't say that to him because he didn't have all his teeth, and I thought he would hit me. But I was like, they're doing fine. Like they're definitely winning their division. They just need to figure out these little fucking things, that'll make them that much better. So yes, to answer that question in my long convoluted way, yes, give him 10 days if he needs 10 days.
I think Roxy's trying to tell us to throw a belt at you, MSS. I think that's what that comment meant.
No, I don't think so.
I hope it is.
To answer your question, Treasy, and I like you weaving in a topic that I kind of had on this agenda before we blew it out when we were finalizing the agenda. I would, and I think you're running out of time to do a couple of these fake DL stints and get a guy 10, 15 days off. I would try to get him some rest because he's been ridden hard. I would actually try to get Dylan Cease some rest as well. He's the other guy in the rotation that I would think about. And out of the position players, I know he's been a hot topic for everybody, but I would get Yohan Moncada 2 weeks off.
I don't think so.
You know who I'd give time off?
Who?
Michael Rappaport. I mean, Zach Collins. and here's why. Because I think they're gonna bring Yasmani back pretty soon.
Yep.
And the rosters expand in September.
Yep.
If you want Yaz back soon, there's no wiggle room here. Like, and you don't really want to send Sebi down. You could just IL Collins for 10 days. Yeah. The problem is, let's say Grandal tweaks something or can't play. I mean, you're down to one catcher.
Yeah.
Unless you bring up Yerman.
Yep.
And so there's I think the chaos factor of that makes me want it to happen.
Just feeling it a little bit. Yeah, I think they really got a little window here of maybe 2 or 3 weeks that where they could plan one or two more of these kind of like you're going to go out. Now, and I'm not talking like total club med, like Billy Hamilton. He's not going to play another game until like September 30th, right? I mean, like he's been in the dugout. I've seen him running around in the dugout and yelling and high fiving people. He don't look all that hurt, but he's going to stay hurt until September 30th or so. He'll probably play the last series of the season, and then he'll be on the playoff roster, right? I mean, that's what it's looking like.
I mean, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to keep him so that they can have him for the playoffs.
Have him for the playoffs, right? He's a special weapon for the playoffs. So, yeah, I think that they've got, if they want to do one or two more of these, they better get going on them. Like it's now's the time, basically. Maybe they're waiting until they get through this little stretch because they've got the Rays this weekend. They've got to go to Toronto, so those are some tougher matchups. Maybe once they kind of get through that, they'll reevaluate and give someone else some time.
Loaf, I'm 100% against giving Noah Moncada any type of a break.
Why is
he
that?
doesn't have to play. You don't have to start him. Just keep him in the dugout because the more free time he has, the more time he's going to go with his barber to the Hooters in Maryville, and the possibility of him catching COVID goes way the fuck up. And then we're stuck. We're stuck with a COVID guy again. And we don't need that. We had that last year. I don't like COVID Moncada.
That's why I froze him. Moncada froze you. Moncada, he jumped in and he froze you right there because he knows your point's bullshit. My thought is this, and he had a great year in 2019. He did have a little time where he had the hamstring barking a little, and he didn't, he took a little bit of time off. I think he just might need a little mental rest right now because for all intents and purposes, the part of Noah Moncada that's missing is the power, right? And to me, everything else looks fine. The eye looks good. He's making contact, and his batting average seems fine. It's just the power. And so that would lead me to believe he's tired. Some part of him's tired, or maybe some part of him's barking a little bit. So not enough to sit him down, but enough to hinder the power.
Are you insinuating that wings from Hooters might give him more power or something that he
never know? I don't know for sure. I don't know the nutritional factors.
What about bottle service at Bottle and Blonde?
It could.
Bottle Blonde. Would that help?
I have no clue. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. All right.
Come on, man.
It's more of an Addison Russell joint than
it was
Noah Moncada. So MSS, one other thing about this was that it was a weekday series.
Yes.
Weekday home series, and I have a lot of fun with those. Do you have fun with those?
Yes. And that was something that I wanted to add into this discussion 100%. Folks, you don't need to go on a Saturday. You don't need to go on a Friday. You don't got to go on a Sunday. All the things that you enjoy about going to a baseball game or a basketball game are just as fun on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I drink just as much on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday as witnessed by these two men this week. There are no lines for the restroom, or very little lines. There's very little lines for food or drink, which was the Sox did a great job on Sunday, getting people through the line though too. I noticed like the food lines and the drink lines. Getting into the game, we could get a little better, but they're still not doing. They're not totally horrible. But guys, this is playoff baseball. We're watching good teams playing baseball. Come out on a Monday. Take a half day on Tuesday. Get a cheap ticket. There was cheap tickets left and right for this series. Nobody's out there, right? You got like probably, I would say at best 18,000, maybe 18,000. And I'll tell you, it is a nice, relaxed atmosphere, but still loud as fuck and just as entertaining as any of the other days. So get out there. And you know what? Another thing, Loaf, you said in the early year, what's right? What's like back now? The split. The split has routinely been
back big time, man.
To $10,000 during the week.
Yes, on the weeknights. This is insane. Like $8,000 or whatever. It's been tremendous.
It literally was $47 like in the beginning of the year, and now it's like $6,000. I mean, come on. So, and your chances of winning that are gonna go way the fuck up. Josh, dude, take it easy. This is only going to reach about 2,000 to 3,000 people. Okay, we can take on 2,000 to 3,000 more people. Yeah. Like it's going to be fine,
especially spread out.
I just want people to like. I don't want somebody to go, man. I've been hearing the horrors of the traffic and the parking and the lines to get in and the lines to get food and all that shit. And I'll tell you, yes, it's kind of true most on the weekends, but it's not true on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So get your ass over there. Today, me and the kids walked right up. we got to meet Southpaw. It only took like 5 minutes. I looked over there on Saturday. The goddamn line was like, I think, by the barbecue joint in center field, like to meet Southpaw. Like, it was ridiculous. The guy's, it's just a person in a furry suit, folks. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But today, you could have met him in 5 minutes. I was so happy. The girls were so happy. You know, it was just, I mean, if we weren't drenched in sweat or they weren't drenched in my sweat, it would have been more fun. But it was just like, it was just a great, great fucking day today.
How do you know? They might be used to that. They might enjoy being drenched in your sweat.
No, you know.
Dad, drench us in your sweat again. We love it so much.
You'll appreciate this, Loaf. We had to switch the car seats because for drop-off procedure at the Catholic school, you want to be closer to the curb, right? You don't want her getting out and getting hit by some fucking mom who's not really paying attention and texting and just like murders my
easy
child.
Talking about my wife like that, okay?
I'm not talking about your wife particularly. There's other ones, but no. No, so we're doing that, and unfortunately, the backseat of our car, like, it's really hard to get the seatbelt over the shoulder seatbelt into the clicker, especially if you have a booster seat. So, you know, my oldest is like really struggling, and it's not her fault. This morning, she's like, Dad, you're really sweaty. You're getting me sweaty. I'm getting Dad, like, move. Like,
he's worried about going to school. He's like, Dad, don't get your sweat on me. The third time, I'm a sweaty kid.
The third time I had to latch her in today, she's like, Dad, are you still sweaty? Are you still sweaty? I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm over 300 pounds. Yes, I'm sweaty. It is fucking, like, humidity is 97%. I'm sweaty. Yes, it's going to be this, like, for a while. I go, you're going to have to get used to this, or you're going to have to figure the fuck out. Figure it out. And I'm almost a big cat gifter. Like, fucking figure it out. You know, like, you're going to have to worry. I'm like, because, like, what she's trying to do is, like, you know, use two hands to do it. And I'm like, can't. You got to, like, just trust that it's going in the right spot.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he made you. You just trust that it's going in the right spot, you know? So, whatever.
Hello.
Good Lord.
All these things.
Good Lord.
I respect that right there.
Hey, K-Fizz, you get your ass back to Chicago, and you come and you try to get, I'm going to put you in that car seat and then see how you can do it. See, well, I'm going to get right across you.
He'll fit in there. He'll fit in there.
Yeah,
He'll fit
there's
in
no
there.
question about that.
My Sock Summer, I need a favor from you, man. Why don't you pay some bills?
Don't put up the graphic. Oh, you put up the graphic. Hey, so guess what? Last week I teased it and I said, "Oh, we're gonna have some tie-dyes." Oh yeah. So here they are. Here's the tie-dyes right back here. I got 4 right here. They're mostly women's, like medium and large shirts, and I got some tank tops. I gave one to Josh Nelson and he hasn't worn it, but here's a nice little one. I am going to put these up tomorrow because when my kids go to school and I have time, I can put shit up on there. Now, here's another one. These are all hand dyed in my backyard. I still have a red stain in my yard from this. That's all right. It'll go away at some point, and I hope it's not toxic and killing my grass. But here are some fancy ones. This is a bullseye one. It's pretty sweet. Now, go up there, check that out tomorrow. Limited quantity, obviously, shipped same day. Open up my fucking door today, or came home from the game today. There's 3 fucking big, huge boxes sitting out in front of my house. One box was from Foco, which is a bunch of Carlos Rodon no-hitter bobbleheads, but the other box was this brand new on fucking Little Friday koozies, motherfuckers. Look at those bitches, all right?
Fuck
now,
yeah, baby.
This is a great koozie. This is just like the other koozies we've made before. It's a neoprene pot, like a premium koozie with the new Little Friday logo. And if you don't know what Little Friday is, you're fucking living it right now. We're in Little Friday.
This is Little Friday.
This is Little Friday.
You're damn right.
You know, like, if there's a 4-game series that starts on a Thursday, always we're like, wow, man, we're getting fucked up on Little Friday. And here we are getting fucked up on Little Friday. So anyway, these will be available in the store starting tomorrow too. Add them to any order. They're a great little thing to give away. People fucking love them. So buy them while you can, because they fucked up the order possibly, or there's another box coming. I don't know. But right now I have limited quantities. So check them out. Little Friday neoprene koozies with the 108 on the other side. So you can tell everybody who you like. All right. Back to you.
All right.
Go
Fellas.
to our website, FromThe108.com. Click on the merch ad in the upper right-hand corner, blah, blah, blah. It's fucking...
You know where to go. You know where to go to get our merch.
don't yada yada that stuff. That's
I do. You know what? A lot of times I do though to get the link. I always just Google from the 108 store. I don't even know what it is. It's from the 108 store. It's a big cartel all up in there somewhere.
Doesn't know our links.
From the 108
That's
store.
helpful.
Hey, I don't know how to get there, but I know how to sell it. That's
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to bring the pooter back, and I'm going to pooter you every single one of these until you get all the shit right. The email, the addresses, the URLs, all that shit. All right.
I don't know what it is. I would definitely going to get pootered.
The boss showed up. The boss showed up today. You're fucked, MSS.
Who's the boss?
Step into his office.
Oh,
all right.
there was a pooter.
All right, so
pooter.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't done this in a while, so we're gonna do a draft.
We haven't.
We're gonna do a draft, and this draft it could go a lot of different ways. It's a very deep draft, and like it's just really gonna be what are your favorites of this, because this is a draft of school movies. This just has to be about school in some respect. As kids are going back to school, gonna give us all the flu and COVID and all the things that they tend to give us.
Yep.
And so
I'm looking forward to it. Actually,
school movies draft. MSS had no notes coming in, so I'm gonna let him go last.
Absolutely.
Just to give the listeners an idea, I send around an agenda. Generally, it's me. About 90% of the time, it's me. And then we, debate what we want to have in there. We do different iterations of it. So there were a few different versions of this thing. But the one thing that never changed in all the iterations was this draft. And MSS, when we're walking through this right before we started, goes, dude, I didn't even see that. It's totally missed it.
It is in bold at the bottom. It's like the last thing. It's in bold. It's I don't know.
You can't miss it, to be honest.
You're going last because of this. I will kick it off. Beef, you could be in the middle here.
Oh, the Quimby, baby. All right.
And the Happy Pierre.
That's right.
We tried to do that to Matt Ramsey, and he said no.
When you guys said school for the draft, or Beef, when you said school, MSS didn't know it was school.
I didn't know.
I thought of one movie immediately, and I feel like it's a solid 1-1. And that's Back to School.
Yes.
Rodney is incredible. Like it's just a funny movie, man. And I will see it on TV and I'll crack up and I mean there's good Robert Downey Jr. in it.
Yep.
There's
Burt
Young, the son who's a terrible actor. But then the guy from Karate Kid is the bad guy again.
The villain.
I forget his real name. I'm blanking on it. But awesome thing. All the teachers are incredible in it. Is Sam Kinison is one of the teachers, and then I'm trying to think who the dean is, because his name is Dean Martin. But he's also a famous actor.
Oh, and the villain, the guy who plays Chaz, is William Zabka.
William Zabka. Yes, thank you.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean.
Kurt Vonnegut's in it.
All around.
That's right.
Awesome movie all around.
Kurt Vonnegut is in that movie.
He's in the movie. Yes, absolutely. And who's the band who's playing?
Oingo Boingo.
Oingo Boingo's playing in the little
because it's Danny Elfman, which is crazy because Danny Elfman's on like every soundtrack now. Like he's doing the scores of movies now.
Guy.
But he's the band when Thornton Mellon's in the hot tub with Bubbles.
The commenters are saying Ned Beatty is the dean. Ned Beatty is the dean.
But yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Great movie. Absolutely great movie. It was 1-1 on my list too, so fuck you for picking that. I'm very upset that you chose that right now.
Hey, I can't wait to know. I want to see your 1-2. Come on, let's see it.
Well, here it comes. Beef, you're up.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to go with my 1-2 because I think I can get it on the turn back. But I'm going to go with a seminal movie for a certain genre, a little more recent genre. And it's starring some comedic superstars, but materially the movie is built around Will Ferrell. And I'm going to go with the movie Old School.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, that is a great one. Yeah. That wasn't going to last too long.
I felt I had to go Old School there because I just didn't think I was going to get it kind of further along. It's not my number 2. It's actually my number 3. But, terrific movie. It's a bunch of older guys acting like idiots, creating a frat. Luke Wilson, Vince Vaughn. You know, Craig Kilborn is a huge asshole in that movie.
Oh my God,
Jeremy
yeah.
Piven, who My Sock Summer wants to play Rick Hahn in the White Sox movie. He's actually the Dean.
Bitch.
Dean Wormser, right? Is that
Yeah.
Dean Wormser?
Cheese.
Yeah, cheese. Yeah. Cheese. Yeah. If
Hey,
you've never
Jack.
seen,
Shut up.
never seen Old School, definitely check. Yeah, you're my boy, Blue. That's right.
Yeah,
K-Fizz, you're my boy,
Joseph Blue Pulaski.
Blue. That's right.
And
Great
Wheezy.
film. Great piece
Wheezy, tremendous in that as well.
Fine piece of cinema right there.
He's one of the sons from from Me, Myself, and Irene.
Irene.
K-Fizz.
Not a school movie, but
Yeah,
a
I
good
got
movie.
out. There you go, Carmen. I was just gonna say the same thing. I was gonna be like, "Didn't we throw you in a dumpster?" Yeah, I got out.
I'm Rick Hahn now.
Hey, we'll put him in a really cool sweater vest. It'll be fine. It'll just look just like
No
him. Don't
problem.
worry about it. Don't worry about it.
My Sock Summer, you got
All
the
right.
turnaround, man. Did you come up with two
note
movies?
The time, 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 20 seconds in. This is when My Sack Summer wins the entire draft with his turnaround picks. First pick, fucking American Pie. What the fuck? How do you guys let that even fall from the fucking one of one? I'm thinking, oh, it's gone. It's
Wasn't
gone.
even on my list, but
Not on my-
go
not
off,
on my
King.
list.
Neither one of yours twos was on my list either. So, hey, there you
Back
go.
to School wasn't on your list?
No, it was not on my list. There were way better
Let's see
movies
if
about
the
school.
comments does anything, because the comments exploded our two picks, Treasy. So let's see if the comments do anything
Yeah.
for American Pie. I'll wait. I'll watch. I see
Okay.
nothing. Yeah,
All right.
If they don't,
it's too goaty.
if
That's
they
why.
don't, then they're wrong.
It's
That's all I have to say.
I'm typing
American
in
Pie.
I'm typing in High School Musical now. Are we good?
Take it. Go ahead. You can have that one. I'll give it to you.
No, go-
American Pie, first one. I mean, my God. The American Pie was the rebirth of all of the funny teen comedy movies. They had gone away. They were gone. There was like nothing there. It was a vapid wasteland of nothing funny. And then American Pie came around and made us laugh again and had some really sweet titties. So I will gonna go with that one. I'm taking American Pie number one. Second, all-time classic. Probably the best fucking movie about school, maybe even more so than American Pie. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My God. How does this fall to the fourth pick of the draft? I don't understand. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the best school movie. There was not a weekend that went by in college that this with another movie wasn't on WGN when I'm hungover as fuck watching it and just play out in front of my eyes. I love this movie. It is probably one of my favorite movies. It is the greatest quotable movie, especially it's so choice. Everything about this goddamn movie is the best.
Let me
So,
say something real
Gotta
quick.
go with it.
No thanks. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I like it.
Ferris Bueller.
Oh, I like it.
And,
Oh,
and fuck going to the Cubs game for his day off. All right.
Oh, come on.
No, I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Good movie. What's the guy's name in there? The guy who's the principal? He's
Jeffrey
kind of
Jones.
Jeffrey
He's
Jones.
not
He's
a good human.
guy. Not a good
Not a
human.
good human.
Bad guy.
Listen,
Definitely should not be the principal of a school.
No, should not be near any kids.
I
ever.
like that he doesn't like this guy, but loves the fuck out of Bill Cosby and the Cosby Show. So, all right, cool.
Oh wow.
I'm not,
Wow.
I'm not a Bill
Just
Cosby
saying.
Show fan. I always
Just
thought
saying.
Bill Cosby's comedy sucked ass. I brought him up in the podcast. Like, I try to do a lot for you guys. Try to give you a nice little set for something funny. And sometimes it fails. It doesn't work. And that was an example of it.
Beef. What do you got with your second pick?
I mean, my list is voluminous right now.
Of course.
It's
'Cause they're all
really
favorites.
tough because there's probably about 7 or 8 great movies I'd love to pick right here. But I think I got to go with a real classic, a kind of the type of movie that men of our age were getting our first boners to. It's a great comedy, and Phoebe Cates and Jennifer Jason Leigh provided the sexuality for us young men at the time. Hilarious fucking movie. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is a fucking classic. And I still go back and watch it, and it still cracks me the fuck up. You know, that's where that's where My Sock Summer gifted Mr. Hand with his Aloha Mr. Hand. I mean, that's where all that shit comes from. The whole bit with Spicoli. It's just a fucking terrific movie. It stands up today, in my opinion.
100%.
I love that.
I
I love that pick.
I only took American Pie over Fast Times was because I needed to have a young movie with an old movie. I couldn't do two old movies in a row. If I did two old movies,
I get that.
I couldn't do it. Like I had to switch it up. I would say Fast Times is like almost like the alternative grunge teenage sex comedy. You know, like it was like just a little off and a little bit too real in some areas. You know, you're like, that's not so great. You know, like the whole abortion thing. I was talking about some real good shit back then.
I was gonna say, it kind of when you're coming of
not
age,
that abortion's good. They're talking about teen problems. Is what I'm trying to say here. Before
it was comedy, but then it led you into there's real life consequences to this shit. Like you in a comedic sense, it taught you, hey, take it easy, motherfuckers. Be careful. Don't go all out with all this shit.
And then if you do fuck up, just own up to it, and then you won't get your car fucking like fucked up.
I was just gonna say. I love the part when she writes prick on his car.
Small prick.
I also love. I also love when they go to like dissect a body. And Spicoli is just like, I'm in this class today. I want to see this.
That's like a field trip, right? They go
it's a field trip. And like, he's like, are you in my class? I am today.
That's right.
So I'm going to go with this movie. This movie is, I've always loved it. I think there's a lot of great lines in it. And it's a lot of, this is a bunch of people that like, we're supposed to all become huge actors. They didn't quite all. Judd Nelson definitely didn't get there. But I'm gonna go with The Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club is a fantastic movie. I love that movie. I just like, you always kind of knew each of these people in high school, and so you put them together in the room, and like it goes about how you would think it would until later in the movie. But like, I don't know. If this is on, I'm probably going to watch it. I just enjoy the hell out of it. It's a one room movie.
Yes,
it's awesome.
It is.
Like how good is your movie when it's one damn room and like you're captivated by it for an hour and a half and it's funny. So like, I really enjoy that one.
It's got great dialogue top to bottom, right? There's a lot of great interactions and interplay between all the characters, even in between the principal and the janitor, even some of that shit, like the interplay between them and kind of like seeing where their lives are at. Kind of.
You thought this job was going to be a piece of cake,
yeah,
yeah.
And it turned out to actually be work, like all that shit. It's a movie that I showed my daughter at a little bit younger age, and she really liked and absorbed and enjoyed it. I think. Some of it is like you're talking about, Treasy, is the different characters in school. Like it sort of spans the different characters, and it shows how there can and should be a little more bonding between social groups, a little more like, hey, everyone be cool with each other,
And I always love this line, but this line is so indicative of high school too. Is when I think Emilio Estevez says to Judd Nelson, like, don't speak for me, and he's like, I would never speak for you. I don't even speak your language. That is how high school truly is. You like the different groups, just they're on different planes. They're just like, they don't even exist to each other. It's wild. And so like, which I'm glad we shred that later in life and just have drinks with everybody and have a good time. But yeah, that movie is tremendous in that regard. I'm going to take a different movie for my next pick and a very different mood to the movie. This is not a comedy.
Oh damn!
Oh boy!
I'm going to take Lean on Me.
Oh, good choice.
And I feel like Lean on Me is there's a line in that movie too that I just love, and it's kind of to me like one of the most Southside things that everyone ever said is when they're trying to tell the kids, we're going to get you a good principal. And they're like, what is it, Sam's? He's like, we don't want a good principal. We want Mr. Clark. There have been just under 200 baseball players in my lifetime where I've gone, I don't want a good baseball player. I want this guy.
Yeah, give me that guy instead.
and that movie is just awesome. Like it's just, it's there's not a lot of bad Morgan Freeman movies out there,
It's true.
But I love every bit of it. Like just the idea of like someone like really coming in and like caring about this kind of situation and doing things in a fashion that you're not supposed to do things, right? And his his interaction with the school board, his interaction with the kids, all of it just is like it speaks to you in a great way. And so I just love that movie. I've always loved it, and like I will watch it right now, and like there's not a chance that I'll get through that movie without like having at least a little bit of mistiness, you know?
Yeah. Joe Clark is extremely punk rock.
Yeah,
he's willing to do it the way it needs to be done, baby. He's DIY, and he's gonna make sure this shit gets done.
He's got
to appreciate that.
He's got Sam's over the side of a building at one point,
exactly.
right? He's got the locks on the doors.
By any means necessary. Yeah, that's absolutely right.
He beats the shit. He beats the shit out of the guy with the switchblade. Or like, I mean, like, it's I don't know. It's an incredible movie. And like when you said school movies, I was like, oh man, this is top of the list. I have another serious one, but we'll see if I can get it.
Rodney Dangerfield, lean on me. All right,
hey,
right there. All right,
sprayed all fields, baby.
Beef, you're up.
You know what? I'm gonna go with a movie that's a very dark movie. And the reason why I'm going to go with it is twofold. It's got a very special place for me and my daughter because a lot of times on weekends when it's not a Sox weekend, we'll stay up late and we'll have like a sleepover we have like a huge wraparound couch. We'll sleep on other sides of the couch and we'll stay up late and watch movies. And this movie we've watched a bunch of times. And so it's special to me from that aspect. And also a couple times when I tweeted it out, I got the response, "You're such a good dad showing your daughter this movie." And usually my Sox Summer, that greedy fuck, steals all the good dad vibes and doesn't leave any for me, even though I've been dadding more than double the amount of time he's been dadding.
It's true.
And that movie is called Heathers. And it's
Great
extremely
movie.
fucking dark. And Christian Slater is awesome. It's a fucked up movie in a lot of ways, but to this day, still extremely fucking entertaining, and I enjoy watching it.
I love that movie. I loved it when it came out.
It was really good when it came out, and it was weird because there's a lot of like artsy cuts into that. Like they'll be like they'll show like what am I trying to say? Like the way it's shot and then the way they look at it. There's like some artsy things that happen, but it also gives you into this like group think mentality that goes on within like the high schools and as you're growing up and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And you guys had touched on something with the Breakfast Club about like smashing like down the social personas of like people. And I remember when Facebook first came out and I was seeing people's, or it might have been MySpace. I think it was mostly Facebook though. Like seeing other people's interests. And I'm like, I never knew so-and-so from high school was into that or was like that or did this or did that because the kid was a fucking nerd and I wasn't going to talk to him. And they were telling that about me mostly. But like, I was like, I can't, like I wish we would have had something like that to like know like, like the Breakfast Club was just like an early Facebook. You're stuck with everybody. You have to listen to their bullshit. You have to be friends with them because something happened and you're all there. And then you're like, hey, we got some common ground here. Let's just fucking talk. But yeah, no, I Heathers is a great movie. I fucking love it. And yeah, it's just a great flick.
And I think there's another school movie that doesn't exist if Heathers never came out. And I think it's a really good school movie too. I'll leave it because you guys might pick it.
Yeah,
but we'll get to it later if no one picks it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But My Sox Summer, you got the turnaround.
I got the turnaround, and this is a hard one. This is very hard. So I'm going to go with two that I think are going to speak to more people, but also great movies. And the first one I'm going to take is Superbad, which I thought was just like another great like return to like teen comedies, like and just the struggle. And like a grit writing because it's like it's the Judd Nelson. It's not Judd Nelson. Judd Apatow. It's not him, but it's his guys, right? It's all the guys that are in his movies, and they all have this. It's what's his nuts? Seth Rogen and his writing partner guy that wrote the movie. But just great fucking flick, and like great actors, and just like the uncomfortableness and the awkwardness of being in high school and being like not a popular person in high school. Like just speaks out to everybody, you know, like, and then you get your one chance to be cool, and you fucking crush it. Like, and it was just like, it was fun to see. Like I don't know. I love that movie. I thought it was great, and I can't wait to show it to my daughters when they're 16 or 17. And we'll be there.
MSS, I'm with you. It's one of those things that captured a lot of things about being a teenager that were like so awful and so frustrating and so weird for you, right? Like, I mean, like a lot of the movie revolves around just getting beer, right? And like that's like a teen struggle, man. Like, I mean, like that's really like you go through like everything that you see in that movie, like all of us have battled through. Right?
Oh yeah,
it's just kind of like all the things that everybody coming up in the world has seen, and like it was so relatable on all of those levels. I just enjoyed the hell out of it, and the conversations, though, I think between Michael Cera and I'm blanking on his name. He works for the A's. Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
We're just like, yeah, this is how two like best friends talk to each other. This is just the they're in their own world, and this is how they communicate to each other, and it's awesome. And like I love that movie.
Would they break down to what porn site they're going to subscribe to because of the other sites that you can get if you subscribe to that were better? They're like, yo, this isn't the best one, but you get access to all these other ones, so we got to go with this one. And you're like, yeah, I think that's flawless. We got to do that.
I don't know what I'll be into in 6 months. You know?
So turn around. I got to take it, and Kier tried to fuck it up and say you were going to take it. But another great revolving around beer movie, Dazed and Confused. Like, you just you can't go by. And like at the time that it came out, which was in the 90s, like it wasn't, the 70s weren't that old, right? But like it was cool again. That culture was kind of cool. Kids were getting high and all that stuff. But just the like, that you got the one kid that gets to hang out with the the cool kids, and then has like the night of like his life, like the first, like on his first, like graduating 8th grade and then going out with the old kids. And like that was just like, that was a rite of passage, and it was fun. And and fucking pretty Brando Pink Floyd fucking refusing to sign the thing, that like, I'm not gonna smoke, I won't play football, I won't smoke pot, and then play football. But yeah, just a great, I loved Dazed and Confused too, and it was something that we watched over and over and over. Plus the soundtrack was dope as hell.
My Sock Summer, it's kind of funny. I brought up that this was going to be the draft to Mrs. Beef, and she's like, oh yeah, Dazed and Confused has got to be way up there. And I said, it's not going to be way up there for Teresi and I. She's like, oh yeah, you guys grew up in the city.
Yeah,
that's more of a movie for everyone else in the country, not the urban kids, basically. So she was like with you. She was like, that should be a high pick in this draft.
It's a good one.
And I've seen it, but I don't relate to it as much because of, I think, all that,
Yeah, you never drove out in the middle of a cornfield to get fucked up.
That's what she said. You didn't have keggers in a cornfield. I was like, no, I didn't. I didn't grow up.
Yeah, Beef, I'm with you. Like, a lot of people in college were like, oh, you got to love Dazed and Confused. And I was like, oh, I've never seen it. I got to watch this shit. And I mean, like, college, I'm at like my recreational height, right? Like, so I'm just like, I watched it and I was like, I don't.
You mean you played a lot of sports?
I don't get this. Yeah, a lot of rec leagues. I was watching. I was like, I don't quite get what's going on here. But yeah, great pick though. It is a great. I mean, like it's a high school, it's a great high school movie. And I knew you would take it. I'm glad you did because it wasn't on my list. Beef. Round out yours.
Oh man, this is my final pick. It's a really tough decision here because I'm struggling between two. I think one is real mainstream, one is real not mainstream, and that's kind of making it tough for me. I mean, I guess I'll pick the one that I probably watch more with my wife and daughter, and then when we dump lists, I'll throw the other one out there that just missed that I almost picked here. I'm gonna go with Mean Girls right here. I think Mean Girls is an absolutely fucking hilarious movie. Probably one of the funniest movies in this genre right here. Fantastic. And I watch it, go back and watch it all the time. And it's funny. It took me a lot. Like when Lucas Giolito threw his no-hitter, if you guys remember this. They're going all nuts on the field. I'm scurrying through the internet. I'm trying to find the kid from the math league when he rips his shirt off. And it took me a while to find the GIF, and I put it out there. I'm like, oh, Lucas celebrating his no-hitter, and it's like, kid rips his shirt off. And it was one of the few times I got a retweet from Tom Fornelli from his Red Sox account. So I knew I did something right there. But that movie's just absolutely they're ruthless and hilarious in that movie.
I just always think, like, as soon as I hear that movie, I just think she doesn't even go here.
Yeah, exactly.
Beef, that is the movie I was referring to with, like, I think Heathers
yeah.
is, like, because it's not the same thing, but it's the same kind of premise of, like, this group of popular kids kind of dominating over the less popular kids.
Yeah.
And then seeing that kind of spun on its head, which is very entertaining to probably everyone in this podcast. And I bet I'm not judging anybody in the comments, but I bet you were kind of like us and not all that popular in high school.
I think Dale Chi-Town, you're high. Summer School got picked first, number 1 of 1. So
no, it didn't. Back to school got picked.
Oh, my bad.
Summer School is definitely in the 11 movies that I have right now to pick for the last pick.
That's how impressive Back to School is in my life. So yeah, don't even get the name right.
You've never seen Back to School?
I've seen it, and I actually listened to Rodney Dangerfield on Stern, like on a repeat today, and he talks, and Rodney was talking about that he was the one that got Sam Kinison in the movie, and that's what kind of put Sam Kinison out there to like a general populace. So like Rodney loved Sam Kinison, like loved him, and like got him out, and it was that's just nuts. Sam's great in that movie.
It's really fucking funny.
It's funny. I mean, but the triple Lindy, it just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
So
Treasy, close it, baby. Close this out.
This is tough because there's a lot of great ones left, and we'll dump the list.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at all that we've got here, and we don't have a horror movie.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
And trust me, there's plenty of high school horror movies, but I think the premiere of those, the best one of all time, in my opinion, that really focuses on high school is Carrie. And I'm going to take Carrie with my last pick. That is some, like, there's a lot going on in that movie. And it's a wild ass movie. Like, everybody dies in it. Like, it's one of those.
Yes.
It's just crazy. Like, there's so much shit in that movie to like kind of absorb, and then that end, just when things go off the rails, it is just pandemonium. And I think they made a remake of it. Fuck, don't watch that shit. Watch the original. It's is it Sissy? I think it's Sissy Spacek.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right.
Just awesome horror movie. Just awesome. I think it's a Stephen King. Just awesome in general movie. But it is very much about how shitty people are in high school. And, kind of when you're that shitty in high school, maybe you deserve someone with telekinesis killing all of you, so.
There are consequences to your actions.
They don't actually deserve that, but at the end of the day, like it's a crazy ass movie, and like when I don't think I could think of someone's high school prom without at least one moment of my mind going like, I haven't watched Carrie in a while.
Oh my god!
All the prom pictures are coming up, and I'm just thinking like, I should probably watch Carrie. What a great flick!
Memories.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Carrie?
No,
it's
It's been a while since I've seen Carrie myself. I should go back and watch it.
The crazier thing is her mom, because her mom is like super religious and crazy, and like it's just like there's a lot going on in that movie. There is just like a ton of wild shit in that movie. Very entertaining. We got to dump the list. I got so many. Yeah. I got so many left.
Drop
All
it.
Right, I'll go.
You go first. Yeah, you dump.
I'll go first. So
you're the movie guy.
I had Summer School.
Yep.
I had Stand and Deliver.
Yep.
That's
Good
a
one.
calculus.
Yeah. Hey, chemo, calculus.
I had Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, damn.
I had Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Okay.
Juice.
I had Juice. So Juice was the one I was struggling with.
Yeah,
between Mean Girls and Juice, because I thought not a lot of people will know Juice, but I love that movie too. I rewatch it again.
Great movie. That's the days of Sam Jackson.
That's right. I know everything before it happened, man. The guy.
Billy Madison.
Billy Madison's a good pull.
Hoosiers.
Yep.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah.
And Pump Up the Volume.
Yeah.
Good. I didn't have that on my list.
We couldn't go 2 Christian Slater movies though. We just there was I mean, I could have gone Gleaming the Cube too, but we just could not go all Christian Slater. Maybe we'll just do a Christian Slater movie draft.
That's right, someday.
Pump Up the Volume was such a great movie though too. It was like such a badass. Like, oh, this guy's badass.
Yeah, he's like the radio, like the underground radio DJ.
Oh,
right? Yeah.
Holy shit! K Fitz, just tremendous.
Gladiator, yes.
I forgot about it, and I love
Gladiator.
I love that Gladiator.
That's right.
I like that Gladiator better than the other Gladiator, and he's from Bridgeport in that. Let's not forget that he's from Bridgeport in that.
Absolutely.
Huh. What do you got, Lo?
Mind if I go next, Trees?
Go right ahead.
Go for it.
I've got a movie that everyone's going to say we missed when we put this up as a poll, Animal House.
Yeah. Oh, that's a PCU. I thought too. I didn't end up with it on my list, but yeah.
I didn't put PCU either, but that fits. School of Rock. I've got.
Yeah.
Clueless.
Oh yeah.
Halloween.
Oh yes.
That's another horror movie that's kind of built around the whole high school experience right there. Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
The Program, because it doesn't have to be high school. It can be any schools, college. Like that was and then The Waterboy. I should have drafted The Waterboy because I love The Waterboy. I watch it all the time.
Lope, I thought you were going to take this during the draft election. I thought it was like kind of right up your alley there.
Oh, I don't think
I don't know that one.
You've never seen that?
I don't think so. No.
Like Reese Witherspoon, and then Matthew Broderick. Mr. Broderick's like the teacher, and like he doesn't like this.
No, I've never seen that.
Doesn't like the student, and so he like fucks up some stuff so she doesn't win class president, and then she gets mad and then ruins his life. Like this all goes awry. Yeah, it's a good movie. It's very dark. When you said dark, this is where I was going. Say Anything to me is like probably one of the better like high school movies. I love that movie. Probably one of my favorite movies. I didn't pick it because I don't think it plays well to most kids anymore. Like people probably don't even know what it is. Plus, like if Johnny Cusack is just kind of intolerable sometimes on the internet. Risky Business, which I think is a great movie, mostly because
early Tom Cruise, baby.
Yeah, and I think
someone mentioned the Joey Pants thing in a question the other day.
About, I didn't put it in the thing. I was like,
we know the pimp.
Yeah.
We know the pimp.
Yeah.
So Risky Business, when they have the he says that you're going into your next life, right? And you're just like, oh, you got to go and do this. You have to be like this. You want to be like your parents. You got to do this. And it's just like, fuck it, I'll go to University of Illinois. And it's just like it's just perfect, And I love that movie. I also had Clueless, and then oddly, and this is it's about school, not 100% about school, but House Party. Because it's like you're all there, and like it's just a good movie. You had to be there. Like I don't know if it plays well anymore and people get into it, but like I fucking loved House Party back in the day. It was just so funny, and you got the people trying to beat you up and go to other places and have fun. Yeah, it was good. So,
yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple Brendan Fraser movies probably too, right? Like so there was
Encino Man.
There's Encino Man. There's With Honors. There's School Ties. So I think he really peaked in high school.
The whole genre right there, yeah.
Somebody was saying like is this only about high school? And I'm like, man, I don't. It's not.
It's school.
I was just trying to think of high school or like a college movie that really spoke, and Lowe said a few of them, but like it seemed like things got more serious when they became like college, stories. Like they weren't as like fun and like carefree and like going crazy, like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Reason.
They always had some sort of a little more serious message than kind of the tomfoolery that the high school movies had.
I can't wait for people to just give us shit about all the things we missed.
Like,
there's just
the
so
comments
many.
have exploded with all kinds of stuff we missed, and it's really good. Like everyone who's in there, great job. There's tons of movies being brought up that someone brought up Porky's. In there. It made me laugh. But there's a ton of movies in there that people are bringing up that we didn't think of.
I mean, Beef, one that I thought about where I was like, did they actually go to school in this at all? Because it would have been great is Monster Squad. Remember Monster Squad? But I don't think there's a school scene. Like, so it's kind of blew me there. I was like, I can't do that. All right.
So, hey, if we're playing at home, just so we know, Dodgeball is whooping major ass in the show poll. 57%, 32% with kickball, flag football, around 12%. So, yeah. No one likes flag football. Sorry.
Well, he picked third. I mean,
that's true. I mean, he got fucked. He should have said that weird game with the cage ball and the scooters. He would have done that.
It would have done at least 18%.
Yes.
And I will end the show here and just say, like, everybody who's been commenting and all of us talking about all these things, we somehow all missed out on Revenge of the Nerds, but that is fine.
Oh.
I will we will talk to you guys soon.
Big miss.
We'll hit you up on Twitter. Don't argue on Twitter about stats or Beef Loaf will come for you.
Argue about this draft.
That's right. Yeah, argue about this draft. That's right.
Come get a koozie.
Have an awesome weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.